Thank you, Mr. President. We greatly appreciate this opportunity. Men, women, soldiers, sailors, Marines. There are some sailors out there. Yes, I'm a retired sailor. But just to say, Mr. Yoakum, thank you so much. I think this organization is absolutely critical. As a matter of fact, we are two proud members, lifetime members of EANGUS, because we believe in what you do. You work for all of us, including the Navy retirees, because what you do affects us all. So thank you. Thank you sincerely. So I promised that this would not be another TRICARE brief because I really want to just get to you real quickly some changes that are coming about, things that you've heard about, things that you might have questions about. There's a lot going on, and you're going to need to stay on top of it. For your soldiers and your airmen, you're going to need to stay on top of it. A lot of changes this next year. One big change has already started to merge. That's the South and the North region have merged into the East region. So now instead of 3 TRICARE regions, there are 2 TRICARE regions. There's the West region, west of the Mississippi, and the East region. Now, with that comes some contract changes as well. So right now, even though they have merged, you do still have 3 managed care support contractors, HealthNet in the north, Humana in the south, and United Healthcare in the west. Now, you may have been reading up that new contracts for 2017 have been awarded, but we are in a period of protest. So honestly, right now, we don't have an answer who will ultimately have the West region and who will ultimately have the East region. Right now, the East has been awarded to Humana, and HealthNet has the West region. But as I said, we're in protest right now, which means everything stops. There could be several phases of protest. We anticipate this first one to be over the first week of November. So I highly suggest that you keep on tricare.mil/changes, and that will keep you updated of the things that are happening within the TRICARE world. Very, very important place to go. The other thing I felt was critically important for your current transitional reserves, your M-Day soldiers, and airmen. There's a new line of duty Department of Defense instruction that has been out since April of this year. This is 11 years in the making. So it's been a long time, since I came in when I was in uniform to this position, they've been working on this Department of Defense instruction. It is a complete paradigm shift for line of duty. It's going to be very important that your military members know about the change. It is not implemented. Even though the DoD has been published, it's out there. I suggest you read it. It's 1241.01. That's 1241.01, Department of Defense instruction. Complete paradigm shift. 1 year. A line of duty has to be completed within 1 year. So you're med boarded out, or you're fixed, or you're separated. Something has to happen within that 1 year. Big paradigm shift of who's going to be responsible for it, but right now, the important thing is right now, don't try and implement the new line of duty into your process because we don't have the services telling us how to do that yet. So it's still, if you're living in those Netherlands, out in a TRICARE Prime remote area, and you're trying to get a line of duty, you're still going to go through the Military Medical Support Office or DHA Great Lakes now that they call them both now. They keep changing names, but they're back to Military Medical Support Office. With that, those are some of the major changes that are happening. I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Max Sanders and let him talk about one of the programs real quickly.
Too bad. Here, what time are we?
No, you're doing fine.
Okay.
But do leave some time for questions, because I'm sure
Okay, Mr. President, thank you very much for giving us this time here. As they said, my name is Max Sanders. Those that don't know me, I'm a retired Air Force Chief Master Sergeant, active duty side, and I am a lifetime member of EANGUS because I am really impressed and have been since my time from active duty and work in reserve affairs, health affairs. But what I want to talk to you today, I'm going to foot stomp something. That's TRICARE Reserve Select. TRICARE Reserve Select came about as an affordable program for our young hard chargers to have medical coverage that was affordable. The #1 group of folks taking advantage of it right now are people that have jobs that have health insurance and are foregoing that premium and going to TRICARE Reserve Select. Why? To save money. Well, that's great. It's there. We still have a lot of our young folks that are not covered. And I'm going to go ahead and start off with some numbers here. I just got them on the phone. Sorry, I do need glasses. But while we're doing this, I'm going to say, everybody sees, a lot of times people say, well, come on, man. We can do better than this. In the Army Guard right now, as of 31 July, we had 17,416 policies, 6,294 member only, 11,122 family. Air Guard, 3,880 policies, 1,243 member only, 2,637 total lives here, and that is the family coverage. We can do better than that. Start a story, and then we're going to go ahead and get into questions. I got a call from a good friend of mine in the South Carolina National Guard. We had a young corporal who just came out of Afghanistan. It's a good troop, went to the Yellow Ribbon program, went to all the briefings, got the TRICARE briefing, and decided, well, TRS, I don't need that. Used the money he saved while he was deployed to buy that new Harley, and you know the rest of the story. Took out a telephone pole, ended up in ICU on a ventilator, unconscious. By the time they contacted me, the mom, who was his only family member, had $350,000 in unpaid medical bills. Since he was within 30 days of coming off his TAMP period, I was able to work with his company commander, get him enrolled, and mom only had to pay $1,000. Now, I can also tell you that was a wonderful story, and thank you. I'm blessed to still work with America's finest, but for every good outcome, I have more bad outcomes, okay? We need to get the word out. Right now, the Affordable Care Act, I don't care how you feel about that, but it is the law. Talk to these young folks. Not only is it playing Russian roulette, not having health care coverage, it's a law now. And for $50 for a single policy, they can't beat it. So help me get the word out, please, okay?
Hang on to that. So we really appreciate you both being here, and we've got time for 2 questions. Who has the first question for these folks? To my left. Where? All right, down there on the end, Montana.
Yes.
So I can't get TRICARE Select because I'm a Title 32 dual status technician. And is there any way, what do we do to change that?
All right, you're at the right place. You're talking to your representatives because the only person who can change that is Congress. Congress has to make those changes. There are you need to read up on what's happening right now in Congress in the National Defense Authorization Act because it can go either way. And we've seen some interesting and challenging items coming up here. So you need to talk to your representatives. You need to be active in EANGUS and get that word out there that you need this and tell them why. But it's a subsidized, they're both subsidized programs, so that's why the government feels that they can't do a duplicate subsidy since you're already getting one through your federal, that they won't do it, but you're in the right place.
I will say that's the biggest point of contention everywhere we go, okay? And I don't know when they started the law, whether they thought or even, I don't know if they knew how many of you guys and gals are actually maintaining the unit on a daily basis and put out a program you can't take advantage of. But it is being looked at, but use your organization.
And we're on it. Frank, I know Frank didn't have a whole lot of time, but Frank's on that, for sure. All right, second question, and then we're done. Somebody. Right here, Alaska.
I'll tell you why you're getting no enrollees for TRICARE Reserve Select out of Alaska. It's because there's no providers in Alaska that will work with TRICARE. And by none, I mean none. Like 0. And I just got to tell you that that's a difficult. There's a few down in Anchorage, but there is 0 providers, what we call north of the range, that'll service.
This is definitely a challenge. In the West region, we have very geographically dispersed, and there's a community shortage in a lot of places, like Alaska and some places in Montana and all across the West region. So we constantly, and our managed care support contractors are constantly reaching out and trying to get more providers, but sometimes there's just not the availability in the community. And then there's a challenge with the costs. The costs are a big deal, particularly when you're in a rural area and they need more income in order to keep their practice open. So trust me, sir, we completely understand, and we do work this every day, but again, you're in the right place. This is how those things get changed. That's why this organization is so important. So again, we thank you sincerely, sir. We thank you for letting us
welcome.
come up and speak for a couple
Thank you
minutes.
for being an exhibitor. Appreciate you. All right.